Hello there, kids. Today we're going to talk about angles in geometric figures. Okay, so basically you need your basic knowledge about angles. Angles including straight line inside a three-sided figure rather, such as a triangle, and basic knowledge about four-sided figures, such as a rectangle or a square. Okay. You should know that along a straight line from a certain point, that an angle opens from this point to this point is equivalent to 180 degrees. Okay, so review lang muna tayo bago natin isa-isahin yung certain numbers for your activity today. Okay, 180 degrees. So ibig sabihin, if there is a straight line and there is a certain cut of an angle, let's say ganito, and if this measures, let's say 50 degrees, how will you solve for the other part? Knowing that the entire or straight line is equivalent to 180 degrees, all you need to do is just to subtract this value from the total, which is 180, to give you this value over here. Okay? And doing so, our answer here is 130 degrees, which means our angle here is equivalent to 130 degrees. Okay, i-review lang natin to. Ginawa nyo na to before. Okay. For a triangle naman, if you're going to add this certain angle here, x, y, and z, you should know that all three angles, or kahit anong klaseng triangle pa yan, okay, adding up all three angles, it is equivalent to 180 degrees. So, yun nga lang, we have certain triangles that you need to be familiar with. Meron tayong mga scalene or scalene triangle. You have the isosceles triangle, and we have the equilateral triangle. Okay. In an equilateral or equiangular triangle, all angles are the same. Ibig sabihin, each angle is equivalent to 60 degrees. Okay. That's for an equilateral triangle. Types of triangles tayo, okay? For an isosceles naman, base angles are the same. You might ask me, Teacher Mark, why are we going fast? Review na lang nga to. Grade 4 topic pa natin to. I even introduced this to some grade 3. Okay. So, ibig sabihin yan, anong nga bang isosceles triangle? Isosceles, ang equilateral pala muna. Dapat make sure that all sides are equal talaga. Parehas ba? Not much, pero okay. Let's try again. Okay. Sa isosceles naman, okay, balik muna tayo sa equilateral pala. All sides are equal, meaning each angles are the same as well. Each angle are the same, is the same. So, sa isosceles naman, let's try if applicable ba ang... Okay, pwede pala. So, ayusin ko lang. Base angles are the same. When we say isosceles, there are two legs that are of the same length. Okay? Two legs are of the same length. And this angle should be the same as this one. Okay? This is not an Angry Bird. Okay? Hindi yan Angry Bird. Baka sabihin nyo na naman, Angry Bird na naman yan. It's not an Angry Bird. Okay, ito ang legs nila. These are their legs, no? Legs niya yan. And these are our base angles. These two are called, this is not a smiling triangle, base angles. And these are the angles that are the same or equal. Which means if this is 75, this should also be 75. Okay? And to solve for this missing value over here, all you need to do is to add both given angles, 75 degrees plus 75 degrees. Which is equivalent to 150. And all you need to do is to subtract this from 180. Bakit 180? Because the total angle inside nga of a triangle is 180. And removing this part will give us 30 degrees. So, ibig sabihin, this angle over here is equivalent to 30 degrees. Okay? So, ganun lang yan. Sa scalene or scalene naman, random yan. Pwede kahit ano yung itsura niya. As long as no sides, no whatever. And when solving an scalene triangle, dapat lahat, at least, hindi lang pala at least, 2 angles should be given when solving a scalene triangle. Okay? So, for example, let's say this is, let's say 70 degrees, and let's say this is 100 or 90 degrees. So, to solve for this, tanggalin ko lang muna to. All you have to do here, no more fancy equation, kasi if I'm doing the equation, mas naglo-loss tayo, nawawala tayo. So, all you have to do is to add the two given angles, 70 degrees plus 90 degrees is equivalent to 160 degrees. And to solve for this unknown angle over here, all you have to do is just to subtract the total from 180, which is equivalent to 20 degrees, which means x here is equivalent to 20 degrees. Okay. So, ganyan lang magsosolve. Again, sa scalene, you need 2 given angles. Sa base angle, sa isosceles naman, yan ang basic information ninyo that there should be 2 equal legs and base angles are the same. Sa equilateral naman, no questions at all. All angles are the same. Okay, yan ang basic information na maibibigay ko sa inyo for a straight line and three-sided figure. Sa four-sided naman, four-sided figure, all you need to do here is, or to know here is that they all form 90 degrees. This is for a rectangle and a square. Okay? So, ganyan lang dapat, 90 degrees. Okay. For a square din, ganun din. Same rules will apply for a square. Ngayon, what if for other figures such as yung mga parallelogram, mga ganyan. For a parallelogram, nako, ayaw niya mag-draw ng parallelogram. Isa-isahin ko na lang. Okay. You should know that in a parallelogram, opposite angles are the same. So, for example, dito, x. If this is x, this should also be x. And if this is y, this should also be y. So, this angle is the same as this one. And this angle should be the same as this one as well. Okay? That is if parallelogram sila. If perfect form sila. So, anyway, sige lang. Try natin i-answer what we have now. Tingnan natin if ano yung mga kaya lang natin gawin. Certain numbers for pages 75. So basically for today, try natin 75 to ano ba? 77. Okay. 10 numbers muna, 10 items. So for number 1, ang sabi doon, wait lang, I'll try to lift. Okay, there you go. Sabi dyan sa number 1, ABC is an isosceles triangle. Okay, isosceles triangle, ibig sabihin we have base angles that are the same and two legs are the same, which is in this case, ito yung two legs na yan. Okay. Base angles, so identifying the base angles, sila yung pinakadulo ng dalawang legs, so which means this one and this one. So, if this is equivalent to 40, which means this other part here is also equivalent to 40 degrees. Okay, ano nga bang pinapasolve sa atin dito? Tingnan muna natin dito. ABC is an isosceles triangle where AB from this point to this point is the same as from this point to this point. Okay? So, we're tasked to solve for angle ABC, which is this one, from A, B, and C. Ito. We're solving for this part over here. How do you solve that? Then again, add nyo lang yung given numbers, given values natin, which is 40 degrees plus 40 degrees. This is now equivalent to 80 degrees. You're solving for the missing part. Ano yung gagawin natin ngayon to solve for it? Okay. Again, since this is already the activity, I'm just here to guide you and not to give you the answer. Okay? Ano gagawin nyo ngayon? 80 is not our answer yet. You know that 80 is just the total of 40 and 40. Now, what are you supposed to do to find out the value of this missing value over here, which is yung x? Okay? So, that's for number 1. Number 2. Okay, so for number 2, we have a straight line here. That is AOB. May O tayo dito. AOB is a straight line. So, you are tasked to solve for DOB. Saan nga bang DOB? Angle DOB. So, we have the D here, we have O over here, and we have the B over here, which means you are solving for this angle over here. Okay? So, paano natin isosolve yan? So, analyze the figure kung mapapansin nyo. You have a straight line. And you have this clue over here, which is related to this missing value here is ang 85 degrees. The 108 degrees is connected to this angle over here. But, we are not solving for that kasi wala. Yun lang ang pinapasolve sa atin. Only angle DOB. And we don't need it. So, to show you clearly, mas clear yung image, paano natin isosolve itong missing value na to? How are we going to solve for this angle over here, ang DOB? Tatanggalin ko to. Yan. How do you solve for this part over here? Straight line lang yan. You already know what to do there. There's a straight line, and one angle is equivalent to 85 degrees. So how do you solve for the other angle? Knowing that a straight line is equivalent to 180 degrees. At a certain point. So, what are you supposed to do here now? Okay? Nandun yan. Yung first example natin yan. Kanina. Okay? First example natin. That's for number 2. Number 3. So, for number 3, sinasabi niyan that angle AOB is, points AOB forms a straight line. Is a straight line. So, you are supposed to find angle COD, Call of Duty, or Cash on Delivery. Anyway, joke lang. COD, we have our C here. Angle COD ang hinanap natin. C, then we have O, and we have D here, which means we are solving for this angle over here. Okay? Ito yung sinasolve natin. Missing value. Okay. So, paano natin isosolve si angle COD? Knowing that it is a straight line forms or is equivalent to 180 degrees. And you have two given angles here, 42 and 63. Now, what are you going to do para isolve natin tong missing value dito? So, first things first, basta may ganito tayong situation in which one part is missing and other parts are given, all you need to do first here is to add the given values. Okay, 63 plus 42, which will give you a certain number. Then, what are you going to do with that certain number now? Out of 180 degrees. Okay? So, ganyan lang yung number 3 ninyo. For number 4, okay, so sa number 4 ninyo, you are asked to solve for, reading the information muna, ABC is a triangle. So we have A, B, and C here that forms a triangle. And ABD, A, B, and D forms a straight line. And you are tasked to solve for angle CBD. Find angle CBD. So, saan yung si CBD? We have CBD. This one. You're tasked to solve for this angle over here. Okay? So, yan ang sinasolve natin dito. CBD. Okay, so if you notice, no, kung tatanggalin natin to, if you're just going to remove this, it now forms a straight line. So, kung nakikita nyo, it now forms this straight line in which one angle is also missing and while solving for the other angle. Okay. Ngayon, ang task nyo muna dito is to solve for this angle first. How do you solve for this angle over here? We need to make use of the triangle that is given. So, babalik ko lang. There. With the given triangle ngayon. So, ito lang muna i-focus nyo. What if I'm going to erase this part? Oops, malaki pala masyado. I'm going to erase this part. It now forms just a triangle alone. So, in this case, which means you need to solve for this value over here, for this missing angle over here. And if you notice, triangle lang din yan. Just the same with our examples kanina sa triangle. Ito, sa scalene yan. Okay? Scalene triangle yan. So, anong gagawin natin? We have two given angles here, 49 and 65. What are you supposed to do with that? For you to be able to get this value over here. So, remember, once you'll get the value for this part over here, it's not the answer yet. Okay? Hindi pa yan ang answer. Kasi nga, what your task here is to solve for angle CBD, which is etong naka-X mark dito with color red. So again, what you did earlier dito is just to get this value over here for you to be able to solve the value of X over here. Once you'll have the answer here, you'll be able to answer yung situation dito for X. Okay, so anong gagawin nyo dyan? You already know. Okay, dalawang figures ang included dyan. In other words, meron tayong triangle, meron din tayong straight line. Okay, so ganyan lang dapat yung pag-solve natin dito. Okay, make use of the triangle first, then later on, try to draw another figure in which yung straight line na lang yung included. In other words, for example lang, you already have the value for this one. You already have the value for this one. Meron na kayo. So now, try to draw another figure in which straight line na lang siya. In which this angle here is now given here. How do you solve for this part over here? Okay, so ganun lang dapat. Again, I'm here to guide lang. I cannot give you the answer kasi if I'll give you the answer, then ako na lang sasagot niyan. What's the point? Diba? Okay. So, for number 5, okay na naman yung guide you all throughout to understand. Pero I mean, at this point kasi, you are still learning in a learning process. So, you need to try it on your own muna. Before the teacher will basically give you hands-on information. If surrender na talaga, that's the time. Pero I'll give you the muna. Pag-isipan nyo muna. Kasi pagdating nyo sa high school na, your teachers will basically not give you hands-on assistance like how MLC teachers do. Okay? So, try natin ngayon ang number 5. So, for number 5, actually, it's quite the same with number 4. It's just that sa number 5, there's a specific type of triangle. And in this case, PQR is an isosceles triangle where PQ is the same as QR. Okay? And also, PQS is a straight line. So, you're tasked to solve for angle PRQ. And PRQ, we have P, we have R, and we have Q. So, which means you are solving for this angle over here. Okay. Okay, eto ngayon. Paano natin isosolve ito? How will you be able to solve for this angle over here? First things first, you need this value. Yung non-base angle, yung hindi base angle, which is here. You have to solve this part first using the straight line. So again, ilalabas ko lang muna siya. So if you notice, this situation now is just the same as this one over here. And we have this value here, which is 74 degrees. So to solve for this one, all you have to do is just to subtract 74 degrees from 180. Now that you have the number, so in this case, tutulungan ko na lang kayo kasi this is a different case kasi this is not included in our example. So borrowing 10 minus 4 will give us 601. So we have 106. Okay. So we now know that the value of this one is 106. So erase ko lang to. 106. Okay, paano tayo nagsosolve ngayon ng missing base angle? You know that base angles are the same. This angle is the same as this angle over here. Parehas yan sila. Okay, magkapareho sila. So, paano natin isosolve yan? You now have the value of 106. If I'm going to put the figure here, okay, we have this as 106. And ito yung missing value natin. This one and this one. Tatanggalin ko lang to para hindi kayo malito na. We already made use of that. Okay. Paano natin isosolve yan? All you need to do is to take 106 and subtract it from 180. Basic yan. Pero, yun na nga. Most of you will just guess. Minus it from 180, teacher. Parating ganun. Without even thinking. Just because, yun na yun. Okay. So, we have 7 and we have 10. So, we have 4 here and 74. You might test me, teacher. Parang bumalik lang tayo. Yes. Ganyan ang basic. Now, 74, teacher Mark, ibig sabihin ba this is 74 and this is also 74? No, because if you're going to add all those three angles, that will not be equivalent to 180 degrees anymore. Try nyo i-add 74 plus 74 plus 106. Hindi na yan siya magiging 180. So, teacher Mark, ano ang gagawin natin dito ngayon? Okay. Knowing that these two angles over here are equal, x and x are the same. They share 74. Okay? Ang x plus x na yan, ibig sabihin, kung i-add nyo yung x plus x, sila ang equivalent to 74 degrees. So, to get the value of x, all you need to do is just to take 74 and divide it by the number of angles that share it, which is 1 and 2, divided by 2. So, 74 divided by 2, mag-divide na lang kayo. 74 divided by 2, which will give you, we have 3, 6, 1, 4, 7. So we now have this equivalent as 37 degrees. So, ibig sabihin ngayon that this angle over here is equivalent to 37 rather, sorry. And also 37 degrees over here. Okay, so ibig sabihin that angle PRQ is equivalent to 37 degrees. Okay, ganun lang ang pagkuha natin sa answer sa number 5. Okay. Now, moving on to number 6. Okay, so para na natin isosolve ito ngayon. How are we going to solve this part over here? So, meron tayong 117 degrees here and 125 here. For a trapezium kasi ang sabi kasi dito sa figure, WXYZ is a trapezium where WX is parallel to ZY. Ito yung point na parallel sila, which means they don't meet. Even if you're going to extend them, they will not meet. Okay, shortcut nito. These two are pair. And these other two here are also pair. To solve for, depende kasi pag regular kasi yung angle, pag regular trapezium and an irregular trapezium. In this case kasi, looking at the figure, they are obviously an irregular trapezium. Okay. And to solve for the missing pair, kunwari lang, if you are tasked to solve for this part over here, so you take the pair itong naka-green. So, just take 180 degrees and subtract the 125 degrees to give you the value of this part, yung x. And solving for the other naman, which is in this case, I'll note it as y para hindi tayo malito. To solve for this missing angle here, we have 180 degrees minus 117 degrees to get the value of y. Okay? Yan lang yung mga basic natin to get through this for number 6. Okay, sa trapezium. Irregular yan. Kasi kung regular yan, some angles are the same. Kasi irregular, basically, they look the same. Parang symmetrical ba? Yung other half to the other half. For number 7, same rule will apply. Straight line at saka rhombus siya. So, rhombus parang parallelogram lang din yan. Sa parallelogram kasi, they are all, yung binigay ko ng example sa kanina sa taas. Opposite angles are the same. Yan, ito. This one. Opposite angles are the same. Once you'll get one angle, you'll be able to get the other angle na. Okay? So, try nyo muna yung 7 and 8. Try to answer it by yourself. 7 and 8. Easy lang yan. For especially ang number 8. Number 8 ang pinaka madali. Kasi nga, opposite angle lang. For number 7, medyo tricky because you need to to make use of the straight line muna, which is ang ABE. Okay? Straight line ABE for you to be able to solve that. Then from there, you'll be able to get the angle na. So, for example lang, for number 7, I'll not go through it, ha? I'll just draw the figure. Number 7 pala, wait. Okay, so, ibig sabihin, you'll make use of this angle over here, which is 86 degrees, to get the value of this one. And once you'll be able to get this one, and once yung pinapasolve kasi sa inyo dito is ADC, which is ito. Okay? So, opposite nga. They're just opposite. Which means if you'll be able to get this one, you'll be able to get the answer for this part over here. Again, it's a straight line. Make use of the straight line muna. In which one is equals to 68 degrees. How are you able to solve for this one? And this is equivalent to this part over here. Once you'll be able to get that part, pwede nyo na lang kunin yung answer dun sa angle ADC. Okay? So, ganun lang. For number 10, it's very easy. Okay? Try nyo muna i-answer yung number 10. Number 10 is very easy. Knowing that it is an equilateral triangle, ibig sabihin all sides are equal and all angles are the same. So, imagine nyo na lang sa number 10. Number 9, I'll give it to you as something for you to think about. Sa number 9 nyo muna pala, I'll give you one clue. Opposite angles are equal pa rin. Okay, intersecting lines yan. Whatever the angle here is, it's the same as this one. Whatever the angle here is, it's the same as the opposite. And if you notice, kung i-close ko lang tong figure na to ngayon, it is now somehow similar to the example in number 9. Okay, which means you need to solve for this angle here for you to be able to get this angle over there. Okay, sa number 10 ninyo, it's very easy nga. Equilateral triangle lang siya, XYZ. Okay, try natin. There. Extended siya. Little kasi nga may straight line tayong si XZW is a straight line. And XYZ is an equilateral triangle. So, find YZW. YZW. You're tasked to solve for this part over here. So, how will you solve for that? You just need this angle over here. Question mark. Ano ang value niyang angle na yan dyan? Knowing that it is an equilateral triangle. Okay, so that's basically it for today. 1 to 10 lang tayo. And the rest is sa next meeting na rin. Okay, so that's it for today.